the NFC East.
A lot to like with those offensive skill players Gibson. He also got 3 good receivers if Curtis Samuel could stay healthy as well. And Eric Bieniemy is there. I know there was tension with those guys. Oh, the guy's too intense, but I don't think that's going to last the whole season. I think maybe it'll take a little while, but Sam Howell, who's played well in the preseason, and a defense that should play better on paper. They're weak in the middle of the field. They've drafted a lot of linebackers that have not panned out, but their pass rush, if Chase Young comes back healthy, is going to be a tough one for them to be able to do. Their secondary, they drafted a couple corners, a lot of corners that played well for them last year, too. I think they'll be better. Not a playoff team, Washington, but I do think they'll be better 8 and 9. I have them tied with the Giants in 3rd. I look at what the Giants, what they have with the wide receivers. Hopefully Darren Waller factor in, because he's right now played a lot of big slot in this preseason. Problem is the Giants have a lot of guys that are traditional slot receivers, and they're going to need someone else to emerge. I like Isaiah Hodgins, but he's really the only one I could trust on a consistent basis. And their defense, they definitely got a lot better talent-wise this offseason, too. I like the move for Okereke, the linebacker. Deontay Banks had a really good preseason, too. The question is with them is, can they get enough consistent edge rushing, too, in Wink's scheme? With Thibodeau and Ojulari, if they can stay healthy, too. They got some depth, but do they have enough of those guys to help out their counter? And stopping the run, too, was an issue for the Giants at certain points last year. I'm going to go with Dallas number 2. I'm going to say 10 and 7 for them. I think they fall off a little bit record-wise with the harder schedule, but I think their improvements this offseason are helpful. I like the move for Brandon Cooks a lot, because they always were missing that number 2 receiver alongside CeeDee Lamb for quite a while after they traded Amari Cooper. They were trying to patch guys in, and I think he's going to be an impactful player. He's a pretty steady player year to year. That's going to help them with their other receivers kind of being more slot type. We'll see what their deal is in the second half of the season. Gilmore is a nice move. I think that'll help their secondary depth a lot. I'm curious what they're going to do with Parsons, because I think the notion of him trying to have to just be a pure pass rusher is really beside itself, too. Like, he's good in other areas. Why not use him in other areas, too? That's why I think the big breakouts have to come from who is that second pass rusher, because I think that's something that Dallas has not figured out yet. They gave DeMarcus Lawrence the big contract. He is kind of underwhelmed since then, because he's really just a speed rusher. Doesn't have a lot of great run-stopping abilities either. The defensive line was pretty good against the run in the first half, but not good in the second half. The other thing that's concerning, too, is the offensive line, who's had some injury issues already this preseason. Number 1, the Philadelphia Eagles. They just got too much talent this offseason with that defensive line. They improved a lot with their running game, too. I think Swift is an upgrade over Sanders, and I think even Rashad Penny's not far behind Miles Sanders either, so I don't think they're going to miss a beat with their running game. The only thing that concerns me with the Eagles long-term is 2 coordinator changes, but I can't imagine this team regressing too badly. I think they're going to be 13 and 4. It's going to be a harder schedule, but 13 and 4, they're my number 1 seed in the NFC.
I'm going to go Washington as my final team in the NFC East. I think they're good defensively. I question their offense because they're complaining already about Eric Bieniemy, so I don't know what's going to happen this year with the quarterback. You can't trust Sam Howell. I think Rivera's going to get fired before the season's end. I just don't know if this team knows where they're going. I think ownership with Harris is definitely moving in the right direction. I just think they're a 7-win team, an 8-win team. I don't think they're any better than that. So I say Washington's the worst team in the NFC East. I like the Giants this year. I think they can win 9 or 10 games. I think they have the quarterback, Daniel Jones. I think they can run the ball. Saquon Barkley's going to have a great year. And their defense is going to be even better with Wink there. He didn't get a job in the offseason. He only interviewed for one of them. I do believe Wink Martindale is the defensive guru, something they haven't had since they won a Super Bowl in 2011. I think they have the ability to get to the quarterback, and I also believe they could throw the ball with Darren Waller. Will give them about 7 or 6 touchdowns and command double teams in the open field. I think they're good, and I think the Giants could make the playoffs. I think there could be 3 wildcard teams that come out of the East like it did last year. I think the Giants are a 10 and 7 team or a 9 and 8 team. They could sneak in as a wildcard team, the last wildcard team, so they're 3rd best team in the NFC East. I have the Cowboys 2nd. I think with Micah Parsons and what this team is capable to do defensively this year, I like Dak Prescott. Pollard's going to have a great year. He's the guy. He is going to be a guy that's going to get touches at catching the ball and running the ball. And I think CeeDee Lamb is going to have another phenomenal year. He's expecting a big contract at the end of the season. If he has another year like he had last year with close to 1,500 yards and 10 touchdowns, he's going to get his money. And I think that this team all around is going to be a dangerous team defensively. If they stay healthy this year and they stay out of trouble off the field, I expect them to be a top 5, top 7 defense in the NFL with Micah Parsons being one of the lead rushers in all of football. I think he's fantastic. I think he's going to get at the quarterback. He's going to hit the quarterback a lot. I would say the Cowboys are a 12 and 5 team, 11 and 6 team. They make the playoffs. They're a wild card team. I question the coaching over there. And now with a new offensive coordinator, they have the same defensive coordinator, they have the same defense. I would say number 2, the Cowboys. I have the Philadelphia Eagles going number 1. With the defense that they have, the youngsters that they have, Jalen Carter is going to be beastly this year, could be defensive rookie of the year. I like their running game. They added Swift in the offseason. They have A.J. Brown. They have Smith. And Jalen Hurts, if he stays healthy this year, this team could win 14 games. They have a tremendous offensive ability. Their offensive line, which is the best in football, they're coming back. Johnson's back. Kelsey is back for another year. I expect that this offensive line will stay healthy and be able to compete all season long against some of the best defenses in the NFL.